Welcome to Sam from Splash. In lieu of Super Bowl 60, we thought it'd be a cool idea to break down some of the past Super Bowl commercials, some past creatives, start dissecting those, and take a look at some of the things that made them so successful. Let's take a look.
Splash.
So Super Bowl 60 is right around the corner. We got Kanye West's ad for his Yeezy shoes. Now this happened last year, the year before, I can't remember, but let's take a look at what he has.
Hey y'all, this Ye, and it's my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial.
So now, like, this is typically his behavior, right? His brand is just outrageous. And there's a lot of things to talk about that when we were starting to dissect Super Bowl commercials. Some had tremendous casting. Some did a phenomenal job at branding. Some did a phenomenal job of being memorable. This one, 100% is unorthodox. This is left field. This is odd. This is very on his character. He's an odd dude. He's a grown crybaby. Sorry if you like Yeezy, sorry, but he's a baby. He's kind of a kid, but it just fits his brand so well. So automatically, right? If I go back, I'm taking, like, first off, it's super dark. It's kind of creepy and kind of weird. So again, but what like his audience is like they're accustomed to that, right? They're used to, he's just speaking the same language. He's just being who he is. People are already attracted to him, and they're already buying his shoes because of him. So, like, when you have a spotlight like Super Bowl and everybody's doing these big cinematic crazy commercials, how do you stand out? And he just did the most unorthodox thing ever. First off, you got 6K, 8K TVs, 55-inch screens, 65-inch, 75-inch screens, and he's on a vertical video, right? Automatically, he stands out, right? It's just different. You're like, dude, is this a commercial? Because everybody's geared up in their head. They're like, Super Bowl time's here. We're going to see some good stuff, right? People tune into the Super Bowl not just for football, but more so for the commercials. And so he's kind of leaning into that, where it's like, dude, you have the spotlight. Everybody's starting to, have actors and they're pulling out all the stops. Let me make something that's completely left field. So it's genius. Sometimes it could be risky doing stuff like that, but in the Super Bowl, when you think about it like that everybody's doing kind of big productions with a lot of famous people, he's just going out there and being completely different. Now, he does have his celebrity to lean on, but again, this is already unorthodox. It's just so different. It's so odd. It just kind of like, it's a screwball in the thing.
And it's my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial.
So what he's saying, is really funny as well. It's so true. Like, everybody knows these Super Bowl slots are really, really expensive to be in there. So he's just saying, hey, dude, like, I'm making this crappy video because we spent all the money on the slot and we don't have no money for the commercial. We don't have no money to put in to a big budget on the commercial. So it's actually really true what he's saying, and it kind of makes you smirk a little bit, like, God damn, like, yeah, I can see why. He justifies the outrageously ridiculous ad, right? This is like, this don't even look like it's shot on an iPhone. This looks, it's terrible looking, right? It's low light, it's in a car, it's in traffic, there's background noise. Like, this goes against everything you want to do when you advertise, but on this stage, it works out so well. And Kanye is good for some of these moments where he just has moments of genius. Like I said, he's just standing out. Everybody's doing this. I am going to do this. And then he justifies it with the right copy, right? Or the right script, right? We spend all the money on the ad, but I mean, the commercial slot, we don't have any money for the production. So buy my shoes.
But the idea is, I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen, and I got some shoes, and that's it.
Completely outrageous. Just completely outrageous, but it works. And he advertised those in, I think, very, very specific locations. They were very fashion forward locations. LA, I think Chicago he did. I think he did in New York. And so he ended up killing it off this Super Bowl ad. He ended up, I think he got his money back and then some. or I know he got his money back and then some. He did phenomenal on the numbers. I don't have them offhand, but I know he did phenomenal on his numbers. And this is something that is just completely, again, it goes against every rule in advertising, right? Like when you make a commercial, he just made the crappiest commercial, which just goes to show you that if you're just memorable and you stand out and you deliver in a way that is people remember what you're doing, you end up winning, right? And this is something that people talk about. Kanye is also really great about generating press. So let's say this commercial wasn't even, it did, like, people didn't buy, they seen the commercial and they didn't go on their phone and just start shopping his shoes. This gets talked about all day long because after the Super Bowl, everybody starts hitting the blogs, hitting the internet, and they're creating content, and they're breaking down commercials, and they're breaking down what happened in the game, and the top 25 commercials or whatever they're doing. This gets headlines. So let's say he doesn't sell shoes on the spot. This type of commercial gets so much press that he can get it on the back end. And again, it's just from being unorthodox. It's just from being completely outrageous, completely different, and standing out and being very smart about how he's targeting his locations. That probably came backed by some data, by the way. Like if he was already selling shoes, he already has the data to be in those markets. So he just leaned into those markets. But again, when you create something, the messaging has to be on point. The message is the number one thing. The second part is how you deliver that message, right? And he did a fantastic job of wrapping this message of, hey, we didn't have any money for the commercial, so buy my shoes, go to this place. He did a great job of packaging this in a way where it's completely unorthodox. It's vertical on horizontal screens, it's low lit, it's pixelated, it's fuzzy, there's background noise, the audio's not crisp, he's like super unaware, and that's it. He literally just probably took him, whatever this ad was, 15 seconds. It took him 30 seconds, 20 seconds to actually bang this out. And this probably was, a 1 or 2 take for him. And so again, when it comes to advertising, the number one thing is just about being remembered. How do I take messaging and what do I want to say? And how do I present it in a way where I package it that's nice and native and nice and in this case not native, but how do I place it in a place where it's remembered? How do I make headlines? How do I make press? And this is probably the number one thing this ad did, because I remember hearing about this ad, not even seeing the ad. I had to go look the ad up after these guys were talking about it, because after the Super Bowl, everybody was talking about this commercial here. And so it's a great way to generate press. Again, it's how do I get attention? How do I promote? How do I advertise? How do I get awareness of my brand, product, company, service? So it's unorthodox like crazy. It's a great advertisement for that specific time. So anyway, again, if you guys need some help with commercials, this is kind of what we do. This is part of what we do. We do brand films, corporate events, corporate videos, anything you can think of. But big advertisement commercials are our absolute favorite. We love to create something to where you're actually remembered. And these kind of ads that can be played into the Super Bowl. So give us a call, 415-888-9658. See you soon.